Good morning, Matthew. Good morning, everybody. We're just about to leave Arming Hall and continue the fifth week of our walk at High Ash Farm, going right round the perimeter. My terrible terrier has to introduce himself to everybody. He just cannot stay quiet if I stay still. So we'd better start to move. It's a bit of a breezy morning, a bit of a cloud cover, and there's quite a strong northeasterly wind coming down this hill. So we're leaving Dawn Hill behind us and turning the camera around, scanning around High Ash Farm, and we're now heading due south down the eastern edge of High Ash Farm on a main public footpath called Boudica Way, or Boadicea Way, as I was taught at school. And here we come. We're just down at the bottom of one of the valleys, and we're now going to turn across a little footbridge which I placed here just a few years back, and there we are. There's the public access sign saying Boudica Way. There we are, public footpath, Norfolk County Council. Nice little finger sign there, lovely and clear. And that's the actual footpath, and it's so tight and narrow there with a little stream running beside it that I've decided right beside the proper legal public footpath to put a temporary permissive footpath there. So here's the sign in front of us just saying High Ash Farm temporary permissive footpath, and it's nice and wide. And this corner of the field is called Greensides Field, and it was planted about 20 years ago now with holly and various British native trees as well. And there's a huge old ash tree which has fallen down. It was close to 100 feet tall and 4 feet through the base of it, so it was a good size and filled up with woodpeckers' holes, and eventually it succumbed to a gale about 10 years ago, and rather than cut it up or burn it, I've left the entire trunk there, and it's perforated. It looks like an Aero chocolate bar. Other chocolate bars are available, and it's just been eaten by every species of beetle you can imagine. So lovely little trees on the right here. This is Marabella, one of the British natives here, just coming into flower. And I can hear a nice wren singing quite close to us as well. Some old elm here, covered in ivy. So the elm is actually dead underneath it, but it's a lovely habitat. And this is the old hedge boundary. And always keep your eye out under ivy. Look, there's a big white patch just on the ground there. It's hands and knees job. There it is. And these are the droppings of a barn owl which comes and shelters here, and we call barn owl droppings whitewash because that's exactly what it looks like. I did warn you about this dog. Do you know, I'm glad this is last week. And so if we look carefully, there is a sign that barn owl has been there, and that's a barn owl pellet. So barn owls eat all their food. Anything that won't pass through the digestive tract is regurgitated or vomited up, if you like, as an owl pellet with all the different bones in there. Morning, hello. Thanks goodness we've gone past some walkers. He's so aggressive. There he is, leading the way. He said, just come on, look, let's get on with this walk. We'll be here for another week. So newly planted trees, lovely hornbeam there, nice holly. This is damp soil, quite fertile, and the holly's all dotted in amongst these British native trees because it doesn't mind the shade. It's much slower growing, so the holly in the back there's about 5 feet tall back there, and these trees are growing out. This is British native English maple, common maple. And here's another lovely hornbeam. That's a beautiful shape. Again, one of our native trees. Many people mistake it for beech trees, but it's not. And here we have some last of the catkins. big old hazel stool here that was coppiced years ago and then just forgotten and allowed to grow up. So there's well over 100 stems in just that clump, what we call a stool. And there's a nice elm there, a little bit better, still alive, and a yew tree just in the background here, giving this small area of woodland some evergreen cover during the winter months as well. So going up the east side of High Ash Farm, now going to cross up the other side of the valley we descended. So quite a long climb up here, and on our way up, some terrific ancient oaks. Nice young one just to start the row off, probably dropped from the tree rather than been planted by one of the jays on High Ash Farm. Doing really nicely. Horse paddock there, south facing slope there, and I can see some fieldfares still out in amongst the horses, just foraging for worms or soil invertebrates before they head off back to Scandinavia, which is probably still chilly over there. Just look at this for a tree. There's more warts on the trunk than there are on my nose, but nevertheless a tree of huge character, and it's up there 80 feet or so, yep, something like that, about 80 feet tall, and I should think he or she, whichever you like, weighs the best part of 30 tons of timber there. That's a terrific tree, probably 7 feet through the trunk, 24 feet round the diameter, round its waistline. That can tell some stories. And another much younger one here, probably about 150 years old. All grow at different rates. The soil's very fertile on this valley. So here we are, nice wide footpath here on Boudica Way, and we're heading up the hill, and in a moment we're just leaving High Ash Farm for about 20 metres, where we cross through the eastern side of some properties, some gardens at the top here, which are old farm workers' cottages just there, where the farm workers used to just walk to High Ash Farm and do their day's jaunt. And there's the keeper's cottage just in the distance, about 100 metres away, high up on the hill here. And I'm just going to turn round because that is a view and a half just before we reach the top of the hill. Sheep in the distance, all about to give birth to their lambs in about 3 weeks' time. And in the distance, Norwich, looking rather grey today, and between myself and the sheep, beautiful wildflower fields on the slopes there, which are ideal, and we're looking for a spectacular display of bee orchids and pyramidal orchids this coming summer. Always something to look forward to at any season of the year. Now, this is where I have to breathe in a little bit. This is the only narrow piece of the 7 miles that I will have walked by the time we've finished our walk today. Oh, we're just out of that wind. That's much nicer. That's leading the way. There he is. This is a little bit narrow for one of the main footpaths, but it's outside my control. It should really be wide enough to be able to carry a coffin through with the pallbearers each side. We're just coming up to Kester Lane, so we're crossing from the north side of High Ash Farm to the south side, and this is where we can take a little stop and start the next section of the walk. Here's Kester Lane leading away, and there's that public footpath sign just there saying finger sign with Boudica Way on it and public footpath. Yep, and one of the old tracks, so instead of being 12-15 feet wide, that's a little bit narrow, but there we are. Right, cross onto the road, and I'll see you again shortly. Hope you can join us.